Let's get started. Lock this car door. If you are listening on an audio podcast, there's nothing wrong with your audio or my audio. This podcast is recorded in real time while I'm walking, at least on the days that I can do so. And I'm saying that because I'm just trying to get over a foot injury. With that said, welcome to Speaking Smashinese, the world's first psychology-centric or psychology-focused podcast that is recorded in the streets while walking and doing calisthenics exercises. I'm recording in real time. I'm in a parking lot, a mall parking lot, parking garage, because it is raining. For those who are new, Smashinese is a term I came up with in college when I studied psychology and philosophy. I think I said when I studied. I should have said where I studied. It just means the language of making love, making out, or the language of intimacy. I am wearing a massive vest today. People are arriving at work at the mall, so I will pause periodically. All right? March in place. Do something while you listen. This is one of the agendas of the podcast. All right? In today's show, we explore the rise of pseudo-intimacy and the death of romantic commitment. Now, a couple of you have asked about this, and today's show will make some of us uncomfortable. I just want to get that out the way early. But still, I'm not pointing fingers at anyone. And as much as possible, we try not to place blame, right? Because I don't know any of you guys. So we try not to do that, all right? But here's the interesting part about this show. Today's show, I should say. Today's episode. This episode is not about cheating. Not about heartbreak. Not about dating apps alone. But something deeper and something quieter, something that hides behind blue check marks, typing bubbles, and perfectly filtered lives. Today, we're talking about pseudo intimacy. P-S-E-U-D-O, intimacy. And before anybody gets defensive, I'm not here to attack technology. I use it. You use it. Many beautiful relationships begin online. We know that. We understand that. We respect that in our time, psychology, technology has its place in our lives. But we're not questioning whether beautiful relationships begin online or not, right? That's not the question. The question is, what happens when digital shortcuts begin replacing the heavy lifting of vulnerability? What happens when we feel connected without ever becoming exposed? When we feel known, right? Like we feel like the other person knows us. Well, they get me. We feel like the other person gets us without ever being fully seen. And by fully seen, I don't mean FaceTime, right? I don't mean seeing someone in person. I mean being seen. Who are you really? And somewhere between the breaths and strides today, because this vest is getting me already, I want us to confront something difficult. Are we building relationships or merely consuming emotional, hold on. Merely consuming emotional experiences? And what about you? Have you ever mistaken frequent interaction online for genuine closeness? And if your answer is yes, we must be careful about the image of connection. We must get into why connection feels abundant, but commitment feels scarce. Specifically, today, 2026 and beyond, right? Let's begin where? We are living in a world where connection feels immediate. Someone, you, me, anyone, right? You can meet someone online and they can immediately know your playlist, know your political preferences, right? Do you lean one way or another? What else do people put in their bios? They can know your favorite foods. They can know your childhood trauma because you felt the need, which is fine, that's your business. You felt the need to divulge this information. They can know your love language and still not truly know you. That's the paradox, because information class is not intimacy. And if you're new to speaking Smashinese, we define things around here. Intimacy means emotional closeness formed through trust, vulnerability, and mutual psychological exposure. Intimacy is not access. Let me repeat. Intimacy is not access. Intimacy is not proximity, all right? Or how close you are to someone. Intimacy is not about messaging frequency. Oh, well, she texts me 4 times a day, so we're good. Intimacy has nothing to do with that. And this matters in 2026 and beyond because AI integrated and hyper-personalized social platforms are becoming increasingly skilled at creating the feeling of being understood. Your feed, it's called an algorithm, guys. Your feed anticipates you. Algorithms study you. Content mirrors you. People can tailor communication around you. Did you ever think about that? Did you ever think that maybe someone sees your bio and sees that you prefer Netflix and chill nights over going to the movies, and you have a cat named Hibiscus? How do you know that because they're interested in the aesthetic or the idea of you, how do you know that they didn't change their bio to make themselves appear more compatible with you? These are the things we have to worry about these days, okay? 2026, 2027, 2028, 2050, and beyond. Maybe not go to 2050, I don't know what we'll have. But social platforms and the algorithms that create them, the algorithms that make them function, that make them useful, that make them valuable to us, to advertisers, to data collectors, they are becoming increasingly skilled at creating the feeling of being understood. Okay? Remember that. And I'll repeat, people can tailor their communication around you. Remember your cat, Hibiscus? Okay? And suddenly, you feel emotionally fed, satiated. But pause, sister. Pause. My brother, are you really being emotionally fed? Are you really? Another car going by. Sorry, guys. Emotionally fed? Or is all of this online and in-app stuff just simulated? Now, be honest. Can someone know your preferences in life without truly knowing who you are? Because knowing what music calms you is not the same as knowing how you shut down when you're afraid, or knowing your favorite color is not the same as knowing what your silence means. And pseudo-intimacy lives inside that space. Pseudo-intimacy lives inside that confusion right there. And for my regular listeners, this is where you probably know I'm going to talk about dopamine, and the dopamine cycle. So, let's go deeper. People, hold on. People often say social media is addictive. That word gets thrown around loosely, but psychologically, there is something important happening on a hormonal level. Dopamine, because we define things around here, is a neurochemical involved in motivation, anticipation, and reward seeking. And neurochemical just means, to simplify it, just means in the brain, okay? When you hear neuro, think brain. Now, I want you to notice what I said. I didn't define dopamine as having anything to do with happiness. Dopamine is involved in feelings of anticipation. And digital validation, online people, thrives on what? On anticipation. Okay? Digital validation thrives on anticipation. You post, you wait, you refresh, you check. Someone texts, someone likes, someone sends an emoji, someone watches, someone responds, and your brain learns something rewarding may happen at any moment. Yeah. It's not happiness, guys. Follow me, please. These things simply trigger this anticipation hormone or phenomenon. Now, of course, there's uncertainty there, but that uncertainty matters because uncertainty, or not knowing, right, creates engagement. And this is where pseudo-intimacy gets tricky. Digital validation can stimulate reward systems without fully engaging the embodied vulnerability and nervous system co-regulation that physical presence often requires, right? It can bypass these things, meaning you can feel noticed, you can feel desired, you can feel emotionally stimulated like crazy, emotionally stimulated, without ever facing or having to deal with exposure or accountability or emotional risk. And the body is smart. Our bodies, all of our bodies, are geniuses. Your body notices the shortcut. When you are dealing with someone in a digital environment, you listening, you walking with me right now, you know what? Hold that question. I owe you guys some push-ups. If you're new to the show, we don't just walk and learn here. We take active breaks. Some of you said don't say rest anymore. We take active breaks where we do some body weight exercises. I'm doing push-ups. You guys can do push-ups, body weight squats, jumping jacks, lunges, burpees if you're so inclined, okay? But let's get that heart rate up and make this even more interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Sorry about my vest buckle. Let's see if I can close this up. For anybody on the audio podcast, they're probably like, well, I can't see him doing push-ups. I was 30. Let's see if we can get a few more. I fixed my weight vest buckle. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. Okay. Yes. You don't have to do what I do, guys. But I'm trying to build a community where we at least get it done and hold one another accountable. Now, as I search this mall garage parking lot for some fresh lungs, where was I? Yeah, I think I was questioning you guys. When you are dealing with someone in a digital environment, do you feel emotionally connected or emotionally stimulated? Emotionally connected or emotionally stimulated? Because those are not identical experiences. Because no matter how honest or real, quotation fingers, okay? If you're on YouTube, you can see that. How real we try to be online or in our bios, Hold on, big truck. Big old street sweeper. And on these dating apps, the person we say we are is not truly who we are. I'll repeat that after the street sweeper gets his life together. The person who we say we are online is not who we really are. And it's this statement right there that I'm making, which in the beginning of this episode made me say, this episode is going to rub some people the wrong way. Because inevitably someone's going to say, well, I know all this human behavior stuff is blank, blank, and blank, but I don't lie in my bios. So who I am online is who I am. Fine. Just keep listening and let's keep going. Digital personas are, in fact, curated personas. Because when we create these digital personas, we build in protections, right? Oh, you didn't think about it like that. We do this because we're also trying to keep certain types of people away. So you think that version of you that you have online is who you are. It is not. It is heavily curated. You have chosen what to say to increase your chances, A, of someone liking you, and B, to keep the crazies and the undesirables away. But the protections we build in online, this curating, or in apps, dating apps, can quickly, well, let's not say quickly, but I'm saying quickly, okay? But let's just say quietly block intimacy, all right? And we'll use quietly because we're talking about in a sneaky way, in a subtle way, right? But I'm saying quickly because right away, if you've curated who you want people to think you are, you don't know who you've blocked. You also don't know who you invited that's also curating who they are, because that's not them either. But let's keep moving. All right? All this talk about personas brings us to the topic of identity. Most people do not show up digitally as their full selves. And honestly, that makes sense. So what you saying something for then, coach? Let's chill, okay? It makes sense. So don't get me wrong. I'm not calling anyone out because everyone does it. Smart people are going to protect themselves. Think about it. Smart people, what are you going to do? You're not going to keep it 100. You're not going to keep it a buck. You're not going to keep it a band. You're not going to keep it real 100%. Okay, perhaps you don't lie in how we understand lying, but you're definitely curating and letting people know what you feel like you want people to know, and you're doing that for the benefit of yourself. And when you build in protections and security as well, that's perfectly fine. You don't go online and say, I live at 123 Main Street, okay, in downtown North Dakota. You don't do that. And look, guys, persona is defined as a socially presented, there you go, a socially presented version of self designed to influence how others perceive us. Okay, so for anybody that's unclear, this is what a persona is. We curate personas. We edit personas. We soften our flaws that we know we have in our personas. We hide our insecurities in our personas, right? We don't divulge this stuff to the world. That opens you up for all kinds of tomfoolery and trickery. We perform heavily in our personas. We perform competence in our personas, which means online and in apps, we always try to present the best version of ourselves that we can possibly conceive. We're telling people who we want to be, who we'd like to be. And for some of us, who we understand ourselves to be, but I'm still not giving that person a pass. You're still curating. And again, I'm not calling anyone a big fat phony. You're a big fat phony. I'm not doing that. Doing all of this, everything I said up to this point is just being human. But here's the problem. After this car passes, curated personas become protective buffers. Buffers, Buffers. I know it's kind of noisy. I hope this audio comes out. This is real, guys. IRL, in real life. Curated personas They shield us from rejection, from embarrassment. They shield us from emotional exposure. And that protection makes us feel safe until we realize that the same wall protecting us may also be the wall that's preventing us from finding intimacy. Because genuine bonding, after this car passes, genuine bonding requires friction. Like all this friction I'm getting as I'm trying to record out in the world today. With me saying that, anybody who's still here, I appreciate you so much. You're here and you're listening because you understand. You get what I'm trying to accomplish. And this podcast could not have the same effect in a clean, pristine studio with perfect acoustics. Yes, I have the same knowledge. I'd be talking about the same things. But sitting in some studio, gaining weight and curating my persona in this podcast. No, I'm out here suffering, and you guys know it. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Genuine bonding. I said genuine, all right? So I'm repeating what I just said before I gave those thank yous. It requires friction. And some people will have you think that friction is a bad thing. Friction can be a bad thing, but friction is not necessarily bad, okay? Genuine bonding requires misunderstanding, which means misunderstanding is not necessarily bad. Genuine bonding requires repair. It requires awkwardness. It requires butterflies in the stomach. It requires nervousness. Genuine bonding, really getting to know someone, requires imperfection. Friends and Romans, real intimacy is not frictionless. I repeat, real friction is real friction. Real intimacy is not frictionless, guys. If you're going to be in a happy, healthy, beautiful, long-term relationship, friction helped you get there. Real intimacy breathes. Real intimacy can be awkward at times, so it stumbles. Real intimacy is a little goofy. Real intimacy observes and it adjusts accordingly. And these curated connections that we have online, you know, what we've been talking about, and dating apps and all of this stuff, they're cool. but they often skip the friction of real world relationships, which means they may, and I'll say may, okay, they may also skip depth, all right? DEPTH. They may skip depth. And I know it's none of my business, but let this car go by. Do you allow people to know you, like know you, like that kind of know you, or merely experience your polished presentation of yourself? And like I said, it is human to take advantage of being able to take your time and present an optimized version of yourself online. Not being in front of others makes telling others who you are very convenient. But there is a high cost for this convenience. Because what happens is romance becomes optimized. And it's right here in my presentation that some of you are going to think I'm being a hater or something, because I'm about to tell you the dangers of modern dating being so efficient these days, so curated these days, so pristine these days. And I know efficiency sounds like a good thing, right? Efficiency sounds good. Some of you are probably like, if I can be whoever I know myself to be, then I will attract the right types of people. Coach Sumo, what are you talking about? Okay. But remember, if any of you feel that way, you are not the only one being efficient. Oh. You see, let me break this down for you, okay? Dating algorithms do many things well. They increase access. They reduce social barriers. And like we've discussed in a previous episode, dating apps 100% widen your opportunities. And all of this matters. But algorithms also reward volume. VOLUME. Oh, where is he going with this? Yeah, you guys know about this obsession with volume. Obsession. People want to, how many likes they get, how many hearts they get, how many subscribers they get, how many followers they get. Algorithms know this about you, and they reward volume. And volume changes psychology. Do not get it twisted. Volume changes psychology. Because when choices multiply, people often evaluate differently. Coach Sumo, what in stale crackers do you mean by volume? In this context, volume simply means that car was noisy. No, just joking, guys. Volume means commodification, which is a big, long word that means treating something deeply human as a product to be evaluated or compared or exchanged. What is the something completely human? Connection. All right? Just in case even the definition threw you off. That's what algorithms do. They take our behaviors, okay? What am I? A human behavior scientist. What are we basically talking about on this podcast? Even with the walking and the calisthenics and the body weight exercise, we're talking about behaviors. Get them right, you're happy and healthy. Don't get them right, the universe has some other plans for you. But what I'm saying is that romance can become commodified. Not necessarily intentionally, but psychologically, it can become commodified. People begin thinking, better match, stronger option, newer experience, improved version. And suddenly, partners start feeling upgradable. Just like software and smartphones. We're going to talk about that a bit more, but I do believe I owe you guys some push-ups. You guys owe me something, okay? Let's get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. That's my set, guys. I'm returning to walking. If you're on the audio podcast, some of you said you can't tell right away because I'm trying to catch my breath. Let's not skip our body weight exercises. All right, you can hear. Hold on, guys. Our street sweeper is back. Okay, where were we? When you break up with someone, or let's not say break up, right? Because that implies you're already in a relationship. When you pass on a full commitment with someone you've been dating, because dating doesn't imply boyfriend and girlfriend, is it because you are viewing that particular connection through the lens of upgrading? You know what I'm saying? Am I making sense here? Which means, by the way, connection never had anything to do with that relationship in the first place. And let's look at it as let's give those people, okay, irreplaceable people are the people that we want to make a connection with, or the people that we end up making a connection with. So those are the irreplaceables, okay? Because irreplaceable people require patience. But convenience culture trains us for replacement. And that tension, that disconnect matters. Because technology has pushed us to a place where romance has become more about performance than anything else. And this may be the deepest shift. People increasingly learn how to appear intimate before learning how to tolerate intimacy. Oh, he preaching now. People have plenty of time to think about everything they say and do in the online space. Most people practice what is called strategic texting and emotional branding. I know you've never thought about it like this, but this is another reason why you're here. People also feel other people out by doing what's called soft launches, which was something that typically you only heard in the entrepreneur space, with people starting businesses, startups, tech companies, fintech companies. With these types of relationship aesthetics and practices, the image of closeness becomes easier to manage than closeness itself. And here is the crazy, weird truth. Curated personas protect us from rejection, but they also protect us from being fully loved. And obviously I'm being facetious, I'm being funny when I use the word protect, because we don't want to be protected from being fully loved. Okay? So yes, I'm trying to be funny here, deliberately. because it's not protection. It blocks us. Hold on, guys. Our street sweeper is back. But curated personas, like I said earlier, do protect us from rejection. That's a good thing. Let this truck finish, guys. But they also block us from being fully loved, because nobody can deeply love a performance. And I'm talking about all of us. We, as humans, are only capable of loving a person. I know you can love other things, pets and stuff like that, but we're talking about intimate relationships with people, okay? We're only capable of loving a person, not what they are presenting. You see it all the time. When someone gets with someone because of who they are. So we'll just say woman A, or the woman, gets with the man who is a music mogul, and they are together as boyfriend and girlfriend for nearly 2 decades. And then after 16, 17, 18 years, they decide to get married. And in months, within months, so we could say within several weeks, she files for divorce. There was never love in that relationship. This person was simply waiting and plotting. Okay, there was no connection. We see what she was there for. All right? You cannot be truly in love with the idea of a person. Either you love them or you don't. So, how much have you edited yourself online? And why do you do it? And if people saw the unedited version of you, I don't mean makeup and hair, I don't mean that stuff. Those are aesthetics. I'm talking about who you are, who we are on the inside. Right? In our brain, in our heart. If people saw the unedited version of you, would you feel relieved? Like, yes, I don't have to pretend anymore. Or would you feel afraid or exposed? And I'm saying it that way so that we can get to what I call the death of endurance. And by endurance, I'm talking about commitment. Like being in a committed relationship, which I think is becoming kind of an outdated concept. If you're listening and you're in a committed relationship right now, okay? And no, you don't have to be married to be in a committed relationship. Get it out your mind, okay? But if you're in a committed relationship right now, you're special. You're fortunate, and you are special. But I don't believe commitment is disappearing, because it is disappearing. But I don't believe it's disappearing because people stop. They stopped wanting love or stopped wanting to be loved. I think something else is happening. We may be losing what is called relational endurance. Relational endurance is the ability to stay emotionally present through discomfort, conflict, and imperfection. That is huge because commitment is not constant excitement. Commitment is not being outside, partying, clubbing, vacationing, always having something to do. Commitment is sustained presence. And historically, courtship or dating, wherever you're from, you use a different term. Or in the hood, trying to holler at someone, okay? Traditionally, it involved uncertainty, patience, nervousness, pursuit, remember that? Rules, remember those? Barriers, remember them? And endless negotiation for first kisses, first intimacy, first this, first that, exclusivity, blah, 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 blah. And no, dating was not always a healthy experience because many times men and women have different timelines for, let's say, keep it clean, coach. Speaking Smashinese. There you go. But psychologically, those hurdles that we had to navigate while dating or talking to someone taught us endurance, stamina. Those hurdles taught us conflict navigation. With boundaries, we all learned delayed gratification. But now, these days, because of technology, many of these hurdles are gone. They disappear. And while convenience removes suffering, rejection, right? We talked about rejection. And rejection, if you've ever been rejected, it is a form of suffering. It may also remove things that really matter to relationship longevity. Or maybe we should call it relationship stamina or relationship endurance, like the term I introduced. And as it gets closer to the time that the mall is to open, there are more and more cars. So here's my final thought. Maybe, like I said earlier, romantic commitment is not dying because people stop wanting love. Maybe it is struggling because we've become accustomed to experiences that deliver stimulation faster than trust can naturally grow. And perhaps that is why so many people settle for shadows instead of substance. And I don't think this is because they lack desire. I just don't believe that. But I think it's because convenience can imitate intimacy without demanding vulnerability. So the question we are trying to answer in this episode is not, did technology ruin romance? The question is, do we still possess the patience to build something deeper than convenience? I appreciate you if you're still here and you're listening. You've been listening to Speaking Smashinese. Remember, guys, keep educating yourselves. Keep walking. Take fitness seriously. We only get one life. All right? Check the links on the platform that you're on. You can reach out to me. I have an email there if you have questions. If you want me to cover a topic, you have something happen to you in your personal life, everything I'll do anonymously. I'll make up names for you, right? Like our cat Hibiscus in this episode. And yes, I appreciate all of you. I will walk with you in the next episode. Ciao.